Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call this meeting to order, the Board of Commissioners of the Town of Rising Sun for May the 24th, 2016. Will you rise with me for, could I get the call to order, please?
Mayor Marion,
Here.
Commissioner Warnick,
Here.
Commissioner Arthurleaf,
Here.
Commissioner LaShire,
Here.
Commissioner Shepard. Let the record reflect that all but Commissioner Shepard are in attendance.
Thank you. Will you rise with me for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will you bow your heads with me for a brief prayer? Father God, I come to you tonight on behalf of the town of Rising Sun. I pray for our elected body members here and for our community as a whole. I ask that you please watch over us all, God, and continue to watch over those that are serving overseas. I ask for a special prayer tonight for the family of Amy Todd, who was a life member of the Perryville Fire Company, who passed away today. And for the family of John Cornack, who is a Rising Sun Little League coach and Maryland Legends coach, who was in a horrible car accident. He is currently in ICU. I pray that you put your healing hands on him, God, and I ask that you continue to guide us in a Christ-like way. In Jesus' name, amen. Approval of town minutes, we do not have any. Approval of executive sessions, we also do not have any. Ms. Rodenbaum?
Okay. Well, that was quick. Hello, how are we tonight?
Good.
I have a video presentation. Now, how do we do that? Is there a clicker?
No, we don't, just let me know when you want me
Okay.
to. You can see it up in front of you.
Right, okay. All right. So my name is Dawn Rodenbaum with the Neighborhood Youth Panel, and I just wanted to give you an update on the program. And some of the commissioners may not be familiar with the program, so I have a brief video. It's not a video, it's a PowerPoint presentation to show you all, just to kind of give you an overview. And I also passed out a memo as well with some facts about the program as well as some statistics. Calvin. So the Neighborhood Youth Panel is a community-based diversion program, and we do have it throughout the county. Rising Sun was the first town that had it. So this is an opportunity for youthful offenders to avoid a juvenile record. So it's also a good opportunity for people in the community to take part in connecting with youth and helping them make changes to their behavior for the better. Just a brief history, like I said, Rising Sun was the first town to get the program. A grant was awarded by Department of Juvenile Services in 2000. And since then, it's been expanded throughout the county. We expanded to Elkton and Northeast in 2008. And then in 2010, the Port Deposit, Perryville area, and then in 2014, up to Bow Manor area. So now it's offered to youth countywide. So we're proud of that. It is run by myself, another part-time employee, well, two other part-time employees. One is an administrative person that works 8 hours a week. So we feel that we do a lot with a little, and we are funded pretty much entirely by grants. The major grant that we received through GOCCP, which is Governor's Office of Crime Control and Prevention, has been discontinued. We became aware of that a couple years ago, and that we're on year 3 of a 5-year phase out. So each year it has decreased, and we're looking for other sources of funding. Working with Barbara Smith, who was here from the county, and it's the local management board, community services, and we have received several grants in the past, and this is the time of year when we apply for grants. We received a grant from United Way In addition to GOCCP grant juvenile services, the town of Elkton has pledged to support the program again this year. Cecil County government makes a contribution. We've also received a VLT grant, video lottery terminal grant, and a couple of Cecil County VFWs and American Legions have also contributed. We're waiting to see if we've applied for funding through the town of Northeast. And we're also asking for Rising Sun support as well. Okay, this is just shows the goals of the juvenile justice system, and we're trying to, since we're dealing with young people, we're trying to hold them accountable for their actions while helping them learn and develop character, and keeping in mind public safety all at the same time. Next. And this is a little small, but it just kind of shows you the juvenile justice system, how that works, and normally what would happen if a child goes through adjudication through the courts. The boxes on the right in yellow represent court appearances. Most juvenile cases are resolved in intake, which means that they meet with a counselor at juvenile services, and first-time offenders, typically with minor offenses, don't go to court. But the neighborhood youth panel is a way for them to avoid all that, avoid the juvenile record, avoid the stigma of going through the juvenile system, and increase their chances of success. Next. Like I said, all our volunteers are community members. We ask that they be 21 years of age. And they don't have to live in the town, just live in the general area. We do have youth panels throughout the county. We have over 20 volunteers countywide, but we are always looking for more. So they're very committed to working with young people, being role models for them, and they do individually mentor the youth. We do a background check, provide training for all our panelists. Next. And for youth to participate, they have to live in the area. Whichever high school they go to, basically, is how we determine which youth panel they'll go to. But they are all juveniles under 18 years, and they're relatively minor offenses. There'll be some examples of the types of offenses that we deal with. And we do see some trends. We have at least a third of our cases now are drug and alcohol related. We have a good bit of assaults, things like that. They have to be cooperative, and since it is, it's a privilege for them to come through their program, so they have to be cooperative. We're not there to decide whether or not they have done the thing that they were charged with, but just to talk to them, find out how we can help them, and hopefully have them make some changes for the better. Okay. Basically, this is what happens when I receive a referral. We receive referrals through juvenile services, through the school resource officers, and directly from parents. And when we receive a referral, we screen it for appropriateness, and that is making sure that they meet the criteria I just went over with you, and that they're going to be cooperative, and that they haven't been seen before or have prior offenses. And we schedule hearings. Usually our hearings in Rising Sun or at Jane's Church. We do sometimes meet here at Town Hall, and they're usually in the evening, and we meet with the parents and the child. And we come up with a written contract for them, and spell out what we want them to do, and they're given a certain amount of time to complete it. And then, if appropriate, we assign them a mentor, one of the volunteers from the panel, and they're under supervision for 45 to 60 days usually. And then once they complete everything successfully, their case is closed and they don't have anything further from their charges. Next. All right, and some of the things that we give these young people to do, some of our sanctions, next. next, are as follows, and you have to keep clicking here. These are some of the things we do, research projects. We have quite a few classes that we offer based on their age, what they did, the punishment they have already received, their degree of remorsefulness. We base it on that, trying to have them learn from the experience. You can keep going, Calvin. There's quite a few different things that we offer. We have shoplifting class. A lot of the things that we do are in-house. We have a couple classes that we run ourselves, like the Life Choices class, which is a two-day workshop. We go to court quite a bit to watch that so they can see, possible consequences if they don't make changes. And one of the big things we like to do is community service. So we have quite a few throughout the county and in Rising Sun partners that we use for community service. And that's a good opportunity for them. That sometimes maybe they're working around animals or something that they've never been exposed to before. So this is a good thing for the kids. And we try to, a lot of times, get them involved in activities. So hopefully it'll be an ongoing thing. You can keep going, Calvin. An ongoing thing where they'll stay involved and stay out of trouble. A lot of times kids get in trouble because they don't have enough to do. So we have quite a few things in the area, and we're always looking for more. So some statistics for the neighborhood youth panel. I kind of touched on this earlier, the types of offenses that we get, and where are others. We had, these are more common ones. Drugs and alcohol make up a good bit. Malicious destruction of property, vandalism, theft, assaults. We have school-related offenses like disruption of school, disorderly conduct, that sort of thing. All right, next. And about 2/3 of our participants are male. And this is demographics for the entire county. It's pretty on par with the population of the county is, Cecil County is, I believe, over 90% white. So we try to give everybody an opportunity regardless of any of that. Okay, keep going. And ages, they are mostly older teens. We do have children as young as 8. So people make mistakes, and we know that, and we're there to give them a second chance. And hopefully if they can learn something from it, makes it all worthwhile. And the victims are involved in the process. Probably about 2/3 of our cases involve victims. They, like I said, we involve them in the process. If they've been affected by a theft or a vandalism or an assault, we make sure that they're satisfied with the outcome, and we let them know. We keep them informed of the entire process, what the consequences are for the youth. And this just shows you, there'll be more about this later also. Most of our youth complete the program. They do everything they're supposed to in the time they're given to do it. And of those, the youth that we're working with, very few get in trouble again while they're in the program. And we do occasionally have some youth that don't complete everything, so that kind of just shows you. But 95% of our youth do complete. That's countywide also. Next. Recidivism, it just shows you. This is pretty has been pretty stagnant, or I don't know, I don't want to use the word stagnant, but it's been pretty
Consistent.
yeah, over the period that we've had it in the county for 15 years, and 90% do not reoffend, and that you have a question?
Yeah, just what you just said, it just caught my eye down here that according to the Department of Juvenile Services, 56% reoffend.
Yes, yes. That's their statistic. So, just to give you an idea. That's why I put that on there, so you know that. All right, and then this just breaks it down by town, and this is the past 18 months through the end of December 2015 for each town. The towns with less youth that we've seen, the numbers, you know, if you have a couple reoffend, like for Bow Manor, there was only 12 youth and 3 reoffended, so that's 25%. But over the course of time, that just was established last 2014, so it's only been going on for about a year and a half as of that. So, but like I said, it's pretty, you know, throughout the county, reliable as far as that goes. And again, it gives you how many completed. Okay, so we're pretty proud of that. And this just shows you the numbers of referrals through juvenile services. This is how many kids they got, 3-year period. And we are getting about 25% of the youth that are referred, all youth that are referred through juvenile services countywide. So that's pretty significant. Next. And we just have some quotes from people in the county. And just, you know, wanted to make you aware. A lot of people are like, you know, they'll say, I haven't heard of it. We are kind of low key. Parents are very appreciative of the opportunity, and, you know, the kids as well. The town has been very supportive of the police department, so we appreciate that. The police are involved in our hearings as well. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. So, and if anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them for you. And I don't know if Barbara, did you want to say anything? Or?
Just a little bit about funding. So I'm with the Department of Community Services. The Neighborhood Youth Panel was started many years ago through county government, but under a different, really a department that ended up going away with Vicki Rinkerman at the change of the county government. So for a couple of years, they went under the auspices of the local management board. And then last year, we took them under our Department of Community Services because they needed a home. And so that's been wonderful in a couple of ways, that they get a little bit of security because they're now under a county department, which is helpful. And we have been able to help start a nonprofit corporation for the purpose of fundraising for the Neighborhood Youth Panel. That didn't exist before. Dawn mentioned that the GOCCP funding has been cut over the last several years, and I can tell you that what that means is it went from a grant of about $50,000 2 years ago to $22,000 is what we could apply for this year. So in the first year that they asked us to reduce by 25%, they actually cut us by an extra $10,000. So last year, this year that we're currently in, the program was short about $15,000 to meet just our budgeted items. And so we've formed a nonprofit. We've done some solicitations. That's why we're asking towns that receive the benefits of the program to help us to fund it, because that funding is going away. We're hopeful that the Governor's Office for Crime Control and Prevention will come up with some other options for us, but the way it stands right now, we're in a deficit period, and so that the county will help to pick up some of that slack where we have to. And that's why we're soliciting our community partners to be a part of that plan with us. The program, I served on the Neighborhood Youth Panel years ago when I was with the Boys and Girls Club, and it really is an awesome program for the families and the kids that participate, and some of the mentoring relationships last for those kids long after they're completed the program. So they make some good connections with local people in their town. They might see, you know, at the drugstore or at their place of business or at the school or wherever they are. So I can't speak highly enough for that aspect, let alone for the 90% non-recidivism, which is just a statistic that's not reached anywhere else in these types of programs. So I just wanted to share that much. Do you guys have any other questions on that, about that end of things before
What's the
I turn it back to
total
Dawn?
operating budget of the program?
It's about 80,000. It's gonna, to this point, we have one full-time employee and she has not been offered the option of having benefits, which obviously we can't do that anymore. So that's gonna increase the cost of the programs. And that'll bring us a little closer to 90, 95.
Is this data on the ccgov.org website updated for the youth panel? Because I'm looking at the
I
application for
don't
funding.
know that that anything has been updated. If you
Okay.
found it on there at all, it's probably old data.
Where's your office located?
We're in the county admin building at Chesapeake Boulevard. And I can tell you that the county's new website is going to come up in the middle of June. They're revamping it all, and so we're all writing new pages, and that'll be happening mid-June.
Okay.
Okay,
Look
great.
at this, and I guess currently we do pay for the phone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was an in-kind
Yeah.
from the get-go. And there were other things. There was an office space downstairs. And before the town hall was built, there was an office space at another location that the town covered.
Right, and so when I said that we're at the county admin building, I didn't mean Dawn works out of there. So Dawn and Leslie and Josh all work independently, and they, we support them from the office and can give them.
Each individual town also.
Right.
And each individual town, right. So, if they need letterhead or copies or business cards, we're happy to help with that, but she does not have an office on site at the county building. I do.
And I just wanted to invite any of you that would like to come and observe or participate in the neighborhood youth panel, just let me know. And I have my cards with me, and that includes people, town people, citizens. If you're interested in doing that, we welcome that anytime. But if anybody has any questions, please let me know.
Do you have a set amount for the donation that you're looking for? Or is the donation
We
open?
sent a request to the town.
We did, and I believe the one we sent to Rising Sun was $4,500, was our request for Town of Rising Sun.
And
Okay.
that's kind of commensurate with the amount of youth that Rising Sun has, that part of the program. And I put on my memo, the percentages for Rising Sun is about 15%. And that's not even 15% of the budget, but that's where we're starting from, since we do have other sources of funding right now.
I assume that you work closely with CHIP?
Yes, we sure do. The police department is key with the program. It's, we're partners. We have an intergovernmental agreement, and his officers are present at our hearings. We've had his officers mentor kids and work with them through community service here at the police department. And that same goes for other towns as well. So that's key, that's really key. And it gives the kids an opportunity to make a connection with law enforcement. So a lot of people, kids especially, think that cops, are the bad guys, and that gives them a chance to see that they're there to help you, as long as you're doing what you're supposed to, that sort of thing. Even if you're not, they still, they're still there to help you. So, yeah, that's key, and they are very, very supportive of it, so we appreciate that. And town support. Any other questions? Anybody at all?
Thank you guys so much for coming.
Thank you.
Chief?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Would anybody like to speak this evening? All All right, we'll move forward into staff reports. Chief Peterson. Thank you.
Thank you.
You have your clicker?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. My report's going to be brief tonight. As you all are aware, that we've been quite busy with, some projects here around Town Hall and with a lot of things that are going on in the police department. During that period, the period of May 10th, 2016 through May 24th, we responded to 210 calls for service. 219 calls for service. I can't even read my own print. Most notable during that time, we've had a series of burglaries and robberies that have occurred all around us. We have been fortunate that we've only had 2 shed burglaries recently. You can move to the next slide, Calvin. Back one.
Next one?
Yes. All right. We've had 2 burglaries of sheds in the Ryan Drive area. What I wanted to highlight about that is these generally occur during the daytime, early morning hours and daytime when people are at work. So what we need from the citizens to help us, apprehend those people that are involved, if you're out and about during the day and you see something that looks unusual, say something. That's pretty much the best way I can describe it. If it looks unusual to you, you think it's suspicious, pick up your phone and call. We'll check into it. If it's nothing, it's nothing. We go on and look for the next, suspicious activity that may lead us closer to whoever is involved in these type of incidents. As far as the robberies that have occurred around us, we were able to develop a very good suspect prior to the sheriff's office apprehension and provide them with information that the concerned citizens of Rising Sun and our informants were providing us, and it led them right to that suspect. If you look at today's papers, there is a press release on it that they did make an apprehension, and hopefully that one person that has been doing these will not be doing them no time soon. Okay. Can you go back one? I kind of jumped ahead of myself. All right. During that same period of time, as you can see, our officers have been busy. We arrested 3 for the counterfeiting. Again, I spoke about this at the last meeting, and correct me, Jane, when I say arrested, we have identified the 3 people that have been responsible for that. There is still investigation that's ongoing at a federal level. This case involves multiple jurisdictions that pretty much reduces our involvement to what we did that day. It stretched from New Jersey down to Georgia, and the Secret Service is pretty much going to handle that case. As you can see, we've arrested 5 for heroin possession, 1 for a drug that was not marijuana, 4 fugitives from other areas, 1 for assault, and 3 for failing to appear in court. We also arrested 1 for DWI or DUI, driving under the influence, wrote 11 traffic warnings, 11 traffic citation, 18 warnings, and 1 parking ticket. On to the next, please. Next one. In those areas that we pay specific attention to, the bus stops where vehicles were passing the school buses, right now we were able to issue 1 citation at the bus stop at West Main and Harrington. As you can see, the number of hours that the officers are there is slowly changing, which means we have had some effect on the motorist behavior in those areas. Next slide, please. On the South Queen Street, we've had that same impact there. We spent 4 hours monitoring traffic and saw no violations. Next slide, please. As you can always see, the presence of Rising Sun Police Department at the arrival and departure at the middle school. We've spent 18 hours with an officer teaching DARE, and we wrote 3 traffic warnings and 2 citations right at the middle school. Next, please. And lastly, we will be hosting the next Coffee with a Cop on June 18th, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Martin's Cafe. This is always a good time. It's a great time to meet the officers and exchange ideas and information. So come on out and let's have coffee together. With that, that is my report, unless there's no questions.
I got one.
Yes, sir.
How about from intersection down through to maybe Sunoco?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see anything on that area.
Okay.
I've noticed for quite some time that there's vehicles coming through those areas both ways doing more than the speed limit.
Okay, so you're saying speed along Main
Yes.
Street? Okay.
Yes,
It's usually coming into town when they come down that hill.
either way. They get that light coming this way.
Okay, we can,
More than 25 from there to the exit of my development.
all right, we can make that a focal point. What I generally tell the officers, most of them enjoy the criminal work. They don't like doing traffic. But the quickest way to a criminal is through traffic. They all drive. They're not always the most legitimate drivers. So we will step up enforcement in those areas, and we'll probably lead to identifying more of those people that are wanted, possessing.
We've got a lot of kids walking on those sidewalks.
Okay, we will add that to the area. You're welcome. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Town Administrator, do you have a report this evening?
Just 2 items I wanted to update you on. Bigfoot's is moving along very nicely. They have begun hanging sheetrock on the inside. I believe that they are scheduled for grand opening right around July 4th. Let me say it's been very enjoyable to work with the contractors down there, McQuinty Construction and the owner. We've had a lot of good communication back and forth, asking different questions. On any kind of project like that, it's not uncommon, as you know, the builder is building, for in this case, the store owner to say, "Hey, now that I see how this looks, can we do something a little bit different?" And that's wonderful to do. From my vantage point, the very refreshing thing is that they call and make a phone call and say, "This is what we're thinking about. Is there going to be an issue with that?" And 9 times out of 10, it's, "Hey, that's a great idea." The one time they might have to make a little modification from a building code standpoint, but it's just the communication is what makes these projects go along very smoothly. So I want to congratulate Bigfoots on the progress that they are making. It's going to be exciting once it's open. The other item is we do have a planning commission case, Commissioner Arthurweek, that will be coming up. We did get an application for a new sign. I don't want to steal the thunder from the library to some degree. I had been keeping people up to speed on the library, but they had asked me to slow down on that a little bit because they want to surprise the community with what they're doing. So I believe I think they've gone public with some advertisements on when they're going to have their grand opening. The residents are going to be very happy with the inside of that facility. Some really nice state-of-the-art, very friendly environments, nice environment for learning, computer station. So when they have their grand opening, I encourage everybody to come out.
No,
and
I
take
was
a
going to
look
say
at
that.
it.
I was going to say, I believe, speaking for the board, if we could do a ribbon cutting for them, that would be
I
great.
think that's the 11th, wouldn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, I think they sent you something. I thought
Okay.
I saw something in your mail.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah. So that's another real, that'll be a nice little gem for the residents of Rising Sun to really have a nice state-of-the-art library facility there. So those are the three things I just wanted to update the board and the community on.
Thank you. All right, I don't think we have a historical preservation or a Rising Sun Arts Alliance. Is there any old business tonight? Is there any new business? All right, into the mayor's report. My report will be pretty brief. I attended a great function. I'm sure Commissioner Lashir, Commissioner Warnick will talk about it. The Rising Sun Arts Council did awards for the Excellence Fair at Rising Sun High School. It was a great event. The majority of the board was attended, and we presented awards together, which was really excellent. And I will be attending Conowingo Elementary to speak to them about what it's like being mayor tomorrow morning, in addition to attending their Memorial Day celebration. The American Legion has also asked me to be a guest speaker at their Memorial Day celebration, which will be on Memorial Day itself. I believe it starts at 10 or 11 in the morning. So I welcome the board to come out if they would like to come out as well. But that's my report, and I'm going to move into commissioner comments. Commissioner Altonreith.
First off, let me talk about P&Z, because I always seem to forget it. Our next meeting is scheduled for June the 20th, 6 p.m. And we need to have that meeting with KCI about whether or not we're going to do training for
Yes.
June, since we have that case.
Yes,
So we'll talk more about that during all these other meetings as
Yes.
we figure out the rest of our calendar. Once again, I don't have much action items to report on, other than I've been out visiting a lot of residents and also reviewing the report I had done by KCI, as, you know, compiling a list of things other than the report they did for us of street sidewalks and stormwater. I attended their event at Back Creek Golf Course a week or so ago, and got to speak to all of our engineers collectively that day, as well as a new planner they have on board who has come and spoke to the P&Z board, and we're setting up some training, which is something we haven't had in the past other than the annual Maryland Planning Commissioners Association meeting. So we continue to work on the budget to see where we can do some work. We continue to monitor Ryan Drive to see if we're going to have any more, sinkholes develop up there. We seem to have come through the winter pretty good on that. The contractor that worked on that last year did a pretty good job of stabilizing a lot of the area. So we're going to continue to watch that, because we don't feel we're out of the woods yet. As I said in the last meeting, we had a pretty good winter. We didn't have a lot of street damage due to any sewer main breaks. So that's about all I have tonight. Like I said, we're still in the middle of our budget, working on that. But Brenda and other residents I've been out to see, we haven't forgot about you. And when I was with KCI the other night, we discussed some new things that have been brought up so that they can see, give us an idea of what we can do to fix those things.
Well, has the pond, PNC, has anybody been down to the pond? Is it possibly is there, there's gotta be a grate in there. Is that
Well-
clogged up or?
Not really, Brenda, because we've had so much rain, the pond's just overflowing anyway, with all the rain we've got. I've been down in your all's development, and I've seen the Louise Court River flowing down through there and bringing everything off the hill, so I know exactly what you're talking about. I saw the creek in your backyard
Yeah, I
develop.
mean, I gotta get started on my yard sometime. I mean, it's
Yeah.
going.
And with all, with the whole month of rain that we've had like this, it's really shown issues that if we were going through a dry spell, we wouldn't know. But then it's made them a lot worse. You see just how bad they can be. We've seen several stormwater management ponds that we didn't know were doing what they were doing. until all this rain. I know we have a big one behind Commissioner Warnick's house that is now growing into a forest. And if it wasn't for, for him working on it himself, you know, it would really be out of control because we kind of were left holding that. And that's a huge pond back there. But fortunately, there's no development right there. But this could eventually affect the Stevens Preserve if it happens. So, like I said, just want to let you guys know that they're not, I've been out and looked at them. I talked to KCI last week, so they haven't been forgotten. That's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner Alton-Reith. Commissioner LaShire.
Be brief, we'll be working on planning for a grand opening for the wastewater treatment plant. And as far as the Rising Sun Arts Alliance events that most of us attended, it was for the Rising Sun High School Excellence Fair. You know, a local businessman actually donated the money, $600, to hand out to the students for all the winners. He came out, juried artwork, took a look at it, and it was, he actually gave a speech that almost moved me to tears. So it was Justin Holcomb. It was incredible. And, you know, it was just really good seeing that he donated the money and that, you know, the students actually got it and, you know, they could use the money for art supplies. They each got a Visa gift card to use for whatever they wanted. And it was a really nice event.
Thank you. Commissioner Warnick.
With the weather being what it has, we've not gotten a whole lot done in the parks over the last few weeks because they're very wet. But we did get the safe out of the park, but I don't have any backstory to the safe yet, so I'm still seeing if anybody knows anything. We, as the mayor and Commissioner LaShire have alluded to, the Arts Alliance event was pretty nice for the students, and it was amazing how much. I mean, they probably had a couple hundred pieces there. There was a lot of talent in the lobby of the high school there. The next event, so one of the things we're working on coming up here soon is Sunfest, which is June 4th. So I encourage everybody to come out and attend Sunfest. The vendor area, it's a little changed this year. Main Street will remain open this year. Normally Main Street's shut down and closed, and traffic's detoured around. It always creates something of a traffic headache around Cherry and Walnut, and this year that won't be the case. Main Street will remain open through town, and the event has been expanded into the parking lot of Howard Bank, the remote parking lot, the one between Queen and Pearl Street. So it's about another 53 vendor spaces there, and there are over 100 vendors already. So it's shaping up to be one of the biggest Sunfests ever. And I think that's about all I have for tonight.
Mayor, Commissioner Warnick, Commissioner LaShire, and Commissioner Alton-Reith, you guys were at the last chamber meeting, and in addition to the exciting things that Commissioner Warnick is talking about that the chamber is doing, it was a very well-attended meeting, and I think what is sort of quietly happening, not under our noses, but what is quietly happening is that the chamber is really starting to pick up a lot of momentum with these events. So they're becoming very successful. And I know the businesses that are involved in the chamber, one of the reasons why they're involved is they want to give back to the community. And for the community residents, you do have a chamber that has local businesses in it that are meeting on a monthly basis, and they are planning on events to give back to the community. And that's sometimes it goes unnoticed, and I think now is a good time to send an attaboy to the chamber about how well they are doing right now and how this event is over 100 vendors they already have signed up, and they've had some vendors that know that the event is becoming so popular, they have asked to be able to reserve their vendor spaces for the next couple of years because they don't want to get left out. So it's really becoming popular, and it's just a great thing the chamber's doing.
Yeah, the chamber membership has easily doubled just this year. I mean, and people that attend the meetings. They've had a remarkable, they're really picking up a lot of momentum. It's the most attendance I've seen at any chamber meeting in years that I've been attending them.
Yeah.
So, and then the other, thanks to the mayor for pointing this out. Movies in the park. The first movie is June 17th. It's a Friday. We're moving the movies to Friday this year instead of Saturdays, hoping to encourage greater attendance. And I believe the first movie is going to be The Fifth Wave. So that's kind of geared more towards it's PG-13. So it's be a good movie to start off the summer for the teenagers getting out of.
When do schools get out this year?
8 days.
It's
June 10th, June 9th? Okay.
All right.
thank you.
Absolutely. I did also want to add that I forgot this in my report. Myself and Chief Peterson were guest or celebrity bartenders for an event for a young little boy, Trace Cowden, who suffers from epilepsy. Trace is trying to make money for his service dog. And I think that the event was not only well planned and well attended, but I think they outdid their goal. So it was great to see. It was great to have the chief there and a lot of different people from Cecil County there, as well as some of the commissioners here come out and support the event. So I also wanted to let you guys know that we do have a budget meeting tomorrow night. It is at 7 p.m. And do we have any more business to come before the board tonight? Hearing none, all in favor, could I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting
Aye.
adjourned.